Hey guys, welcome back. Sorry if my voice sounds a little off. I'm just going to be doing a voiceover today. Haven't been feeling super well, but something that we do have is a new Aces of Thunder trailer. This is 25 seconds. It's meant to show off some of the new features that are coming to the game, especially how you're going to interact with the menus and things like this. I'll play it for you in the background. There isn't really much sound to hear. And there is one really great thing in here, and definitely some things that I believe might be a cause for concern. Especially that we are deep within Q4 of 2024 and we still do not have a release date. We're probably not going to get this until December. I mean, we are literally halfway through November right now, so I would say at this point, the game is likely going to get pushed back to 2025. Not that that's the biggest problem in the world. But anyways, let's get into this recent update. We're going to read what they released on Steam here. Here we go. It says, when we started developing Aces of Thunder, one of the most important questions we faced was about interacting with the interface in VR. Fortunately, we found an organic immersive solution, as every pilot, in addition to their helmet and parachute, has a knee-mounted tablet. In virtual reality, a diegetic interface that does not disrupt your immersion in the game world is especially important. All interactions in Aces of Thunder occur using your hands, and selecting options in the menu will be no exception. With one hand, you will hold onto the pilot's tablet, while with the other, you will perform the necessary actions on it. Choosing the right aircraft, determining its load, changing the game mode, time of day, weather, and so on. Your trusty tablet will help you interact with the game interface. This is pretty common in VR games, being able to control where the menu sits on your left hand and then being able to select where it is with your right. Recently, I've been playing some Phasmophobia. It's very similar vibes, right? But the meat is in the footage, and you guys have been watching it in the background. Well, let's go through it, because there are some definitely new things here. All right. Click and play. All right, control the interface with just your hands. So first thing I see right off the bat, we see the 5 countries, we see the aircraft, customization, this is likely objectives, this is going to be leaderboards, this is probably where your players are, settings, and then the ability to leave. Game modes, test flight, I'm not sure what this is, probably just info, right? So you see the 109 F4 here in the background, so when you select them, you're going to be able to probably walk up to the aircraft, interact with them, and see what they look like in the environment. Going back in. USA. First thing I noticed, why are there 5 aircraft? This is great news, but we have not seen the Corsair announced yet. This was not in any footage of the American release, any footage from the Japanese release, because my main criticism was, why do we have Japanese aircraft on Japanese aircraft carriers when we don't have an American ability to escort the SP-2C Helldiver in carrier operations? And now we do. So that is probably the greatest takeaway from this if you're trying to look at this update in a positive light. So the Corsair F4U-4 specifically is the one that is coming to Aces of Thunder on release. This is fantastic. Like I was saying, the 2 battle, game modes, info. All right, so you can see what he did right here. He clicked through, so he went to online games and he hit to battle, and he hit game modes to find something specific. So obviously there's nobody playing online at this current moment, so he goes to create a session. Here's what's interesting. One of my first takeaways is, oh shit, oh no. Okay, because all we see here in the list of battles that you can select are the basic bitch War Thunder operations and air dominations. These aren't bad, and they will be very fun in a strictly VR setting. However, it's nothing we haven't seen before, game modes that only last maybe 20-25 minutes. That's not even enough to get a full fuel load out of like a P-51C. Sorry, even the minimum fuel load. But some good news is that they actually confirm maps that we haven't seen before. So Midway was not spotted when I was going over maps. Peleliu was, Iwo Jima was, Saipan was. These are all going to be fantastic carrier battles. But we've certainly spotted more maps than what they show, including things like Norway and some desert maps, and they just aren't on this list at all. But before we jump to any conclusions, a good takeaway is that this little bar right here is all the way at the bottom. So they are intentionally hiding whatever game modes are above this, including the maps. And the game modes that I'm specifically talking about are A, duels, which they've talked about before, either 1v1s, 2v2s, or 4v4 situations, but especially enduring confrontations, or EC, which is if you play War Thunder Sim, the mode that the game is flown in. So these are battles that last up to 3 hours long. You get multiple flights out of it. There's a lot more dynamic situations with AI spawning in and certain things like that. These operations, these basic bitch War Thunder port overs, right? They also don't have these specific bomber operations, which we've seen in some of the trailers. So I'm not sure what their plan is for a lot of these modes. But 2 things that are also interesting, no clue what these are. So, I mean, this looks like some type of setting, right? But this is probably just a signal for a custom battle, because you see battle, custom battle, we're selected in this that also has the gear. So I'm not sure what this is supposed to mean. Maybe some type of, I don't even want to speculate, but maybe some like historical battles. And this, it's really difficult to tell, right? So there's 2 other selections here as well. So if we're not seeing anything immediately, it's not something to really get your hopes down on. It's just not confirmed. It's just a little concerning to me that they're not confirming new things. They're just confirming that they've ported over more stuff from War Thunder instead of being creative. So maybe they're holding off that specific announcement for something else, given that the main focus on this was how you control the menu system. And I know I'm digging too deep into this. Let's just keep it playing. Air dominations, you see Berlin, Bulge. We're missing Norway here. Time of day, weather, limited fuel, limited ammo. Very similar to if you create a custom in War Thunder. Very, very similar, actually. Let's see, So number of players, 4. I'm sure you can increase that. Maximum battle time. Respawns. Okay. Bots included. I mean, we also noticed this with ground units, right? So we'd seen this in previous trailers. But if you go back, you can actually see that ground forces are confirmed, including AA and other tanks and such. Not to be playable, but as targets. This is interesting, right? So this is the aircraft specifically when you're choosing secondary weapons. Also want to point out a different map that wasn't even mentioned in that specific thing we were just looking at over here. But if the weapons exist in War Thunder, they're going to exist here. So 500-pound bombs for the P-51C, as well as 250 and 100-pound bombs, all of which are on the C-10 in War Thunder itself. And you can be able to choose which belts you're going to take. So probably wanted to take the tracers on this one, or not. Go historical, go with the stealth rounds. I like it. And then you just spawn right in. So this is very nice. The other thing that's new that we haven't seen before that I was curious about is whether the HUD in-game is going to be a thing. And it doesn't look like it's there as far as being able to see your speed and stuff, but it is certainly there for being able to see things like your teammates and the aircraft that they're flying. So this isn't going to strictly be a game that's restricting you on spotting allies, which is probably very nice because we're going to be getting a lot of PSVR 2 players and Steam players that maybe aren't the most experienced with these type of aircraft and identifying them, and to avoiding friendly fire situations is probably the good way to go here. So if this was normal VR, you would be seeing, especially as he turns left, some of the HUD elements up here in the top left, and you just don't. So looks like this is going to be a strictly flying off of instruments type of aircraft. I would love to just be able to stop this perfectly, and I have the timing of a squirrel. There we go. All right, yeah, that's good enough. So putting everybody on that level playing base is actually going to be really interesting to see how it pans out here. All right, I'm trying to keep this quick, but just quick review. F4U-4 Corsair confirmed. Carrier battles confirmed, given that Midway is in there. Saipan, Iwo Jima, all of these things. Port overs from War Thunder missions also confirmed for specific maps. Air-to-ground operations are confirmed. When the game is releasing is certainly not, but different HUD elements and how they're going to be interactable are. So if that's specifically interesting to you, then you really loved this video. But no matter how mundane, guys, I'm going to be here to cover this. No matter how sick I'm feeling, I am feeling a little bit better. Just trying to find the time to make some longer videos. But you know, for Aces of Thunder, they get special treatment. I can always be here to update y'all. Subscribe down below and turn on that bell to make sure that you're notified every time I release a video. Appreciate y'all. Adios, fellas.